Good afternoon. The net tax cut of our proposal is $500 million over the biennium, $500 million tax cut over the next 2 years. What are our focus points? First of all, we're going to continue our focus on small business. As you know, we started this 2 years ago with a small business deduction of 50%. This is for pass-throughs. These are LLCs, subchapter S, sole proprietorships. A cap of $250,000, 50% above the cap of $250,000. That piece stays in place. But what we're creating now is a tax-free small business deduction. That means that for businesses that have $2 million of gross receipts or below, the business income that is derived from those businesses is tax-free. Tax-free. Both pieces stay in place. We think this is going to help a great deal to be able to incentivize business people, as the governor said, people to start their businesses in Ohio and continue to stick with it and continue to grow, and maybe they become larger over some period of time. Second piece is across the board. We're proposing another across-the-board increase, a decrease in personal income tax of 23% over the biennium, 15% the first year, and the balance in the second year. That will bring our top marginal rate down to 4.1%. As the governor mentioned when he took office, it was 5.925, 4.1% at the end of the biennium. We're also proposing more tax relief for low and middle income folks. A couple of years ago, we raised the personal exemption for the 0 to 40 income group from the $1,700 per person up to $2,200 per person. We're proposing to take the $2,200 up to $4,000 per person. The second income group is the 40 to 80 group. We had taken them up from $1,700 to $1,950, and we're proposing taking them up to $2,850 per person. So again, moving that up from not just the lowest income, 0 to 40, but also that middle income group up to 80,000. We think that'll affect about 3 million tax filers in Ohio, which we think will be a great benefit to them. In addition, when we cut the income tax rates across all brackets, 23% over 2 years, of course, those of us at the higher brackets are going to get more raw dollars from that reduction because they're paying more to begin with. So what we're also doing is we're putting in a means test for those earning $100,000 and above on retirement incomes. That would be the retirement credits that you get on credits against your Ohio income tax, and the taxable portion of your Social Security that you normally would get to deduct now, but you do get to deduct now. But if you're making $100,000 then or more, that credit won't be available to you. A couple of examples we worked out for you. From 2011 to 2016, a single parent, single mom with 2 kids earning $30,000 annually will have seen her income tax go down from about $462 in 2011 to 0 in 2016. 100% reduction on her personal income tax. A family of 4 at a moderate income, about $73,000, will see their taxes go down $664 from 2011 level to 2016 level, about a 36% reduction for that family as well. Of course, how it actually washes out for the individual is going to be based on other decisions too, like purchasing decisions and things like that. So what are we trying to focus on? We're continuing our focus on shifting from a dependency on income for state revenue to shifting more toward consumption, away from income-based to more consumption-based. We still believe that that's the right thing to do, and we still want to continue to move in that direction. A couple of pieces to make that work. One is the sales tax increase the governor mentioned, from 5.75% state level today to 6.25%, 0.5% increase over for about 50 cents on a $100 purchase. We're also going to propose limited base expansion, certain items. It'll be things like lobbying, public relations, debt collection, cable, parking. We're proposing reducing the trade-in value against new vehicles. We're cutting it in half, about 50% for vehicles and for watercraft, another part of it as well. But all the essentials, food, medicine, all of that is essential. Good point. Remain exempt. Remain exempt. Again, what is our focus here? Again, shifting from an income-based dependency to a consumption-based dependency, continuing to move in that direction to help encourage investment and growth and job creation. Second piece is on the cigarette tax. We're proposing a $1 per pack increase in the cigarette tax. We're currently at $1.25. It'll move up to $2.25. We're also proposing equalizing other tobacco products at the same percentage level, so there is not an advantage or disadvantage between cigarettes and other tobacco products, including e-cigarettes. Modernizing severance tax. You've heard from us on this before. Slightly different approach this time, but still the goals are, as the governor mentioned, to try to help utilize this to help all Ohioans with income tax rates across the board. We're proposing a 6.5% severance tax rate for oil and gas, and a lower rate, 4.5%, for the downstream products, those that have to go through significant processing before they can go to market. We're trying to recognize some of the costs of going that they have incurred to get those ready for market. We're also going to propose again that the low volume, the conventional wells, the vertical wells that have been out across Ohio for many, many years, the low volume at 10 MCF, 10,000 cubic feet per day or less on gas, will pay no severance tax at all. Proposal we had made before. Also, too, it's very important, the governor mentioned this as well. We're putting back in our proposal, 20% of that severance tax stays with the local community. 20% of it for immediate usage, for mitigating any impacts that might be for the drilling and all the activities that are going on, and then a portion of it goes into a more of a long-term legacy type fund to help them long-term, perhaps when things might decline, to be able to help them cope with those more long-term. The next piece is on the CAT, commercial activity tax. The governor mentioned that as well. We're proposing taking the CAT rate from 0.26% up to 0.32%, which is $600 on $1 million gross receipts. Again, as the governor mentioned, the increase in the CAT tax is almost identical to the amount of savings that will be projected for the small businesses, that 2 million gross receipts group and below. So it pretty much is sharing that, balancing that increase on the one side for the larger businesses to help the smaller businesses be able to incentivize and grow. We're also going to protect those smaller businesses at 2 million gross receipts and below from that CAT tax increase, so they won't have to pay that additional as well. And then my last item is Tax Expenditure Review Committee. These are credits, exemptions, and so on. You're very familiar with these. They currently total $8.5 billion a year. $8.5 billion a year. We think it's time to get reviewed. So we're putting into our budget proposal a Tax Expenditure Review Committee consisting of members of the legislature, from the executive branch, and from the public, to review all tax expenditures over a 4-year period. We've taken all the tax expenditures and put them into 4 groups, 1 group each year, so they'll all be reviewed over a 4-year period. What is the charge of that committee? The charge will be to review them all and decide, are they still viable? Are they still necessary for Ohio's growth? Should they be retained as they are? Should they be modified because perhaps technology has changed and maybe it isn't as necessary as it used to be? Or perhaps discontinue entirely? That will be the charge of this committee, and we hope that that will take place. Again, all of them be reviewed because we think that, and some of them have been in place, as you all know, for many decades. So we think it's time for that. Thank you.
Good afternoon.